We're joined today by Chris Stevens, Managing Director at Coda Minerals. Chris, thanks for your time.
G'day, David. Thanks for having me.
We last caught up in February at the RIU Explorers Conference, but it's been a busy 6 months since then on the copper cobalt project in South Australia. What have been some of the highlights?
Right, so just a very quick recap. 2 open pits, 1 underground in the current scoping study mine plan. We put out a study about 18 months ago, and so when we last spoke, we just put out an update to that study. So we've gone from 570 million, 735 million. That was primarily based on a change to the mine plan. Since then, we put out another update, which is better utilising pillar recoveries in the underground mine. So effectively, the last 12 months, the optimisation improvements really focused on that underground mining at Emmy Bluff. We're really happy, very pleased with where we are now. That has taken our net present value to 826 million pre-tax, 31% IRR, starting to look really good. And again, I would emphasize that's done at $8,800 a ton US copper. We're now at $9,700 a ton. So that's the work that's really been done since we last saw you. In terms of next stage, we are focusing on recoveries and funding. So really taken some time to nail the mine plan. Next stage is looking at some opportunities within the flow sheet, and then continuing talking with funding parties and looking at how we take this to the next stage.
And how is the flow sheet enhancements going?
Good. We've been really focusing on the copper recoveries. The cobalt recoveries are spectacular. It's carolide, which is almost a pure copper cobalt sulfide. They recover over 90% flotation, 95% by both albion and pressure oxidation into final product. So that's wonderful. The copper, around about 75% recovery is from Emmy Bluff. And again, the economics that you see are based on those recovery numbers. So you can see we've got sort of 10-15% scope there. We're looking at a number of things, sulfidization, some reverse flotation, also making sure that we've done some more variability work to make sure that we're not using overly complex assumptions. We've obviously said to market what we're doing. We haven't got the results back yet, so that's a watch this space. But when you think about a project this size, 826 million MPV, there's a fair bit of scope if you're looking at it, even a 5-10% improvement to recoveries. That's certainly the focus, and we're looking to try and achieve that.
And funding discussions, how well are they advancing?
Look, they're advancing really well. They continue to advance. It's been a really tough market. I mean, with retail shareholders, to a large extent, I think, sitting out a lot of commodities, and copper's been one of them, sitting around low $8,000 a ton US copper. We haven't seen many projects really advancing in terms of the next stages. We've been in a lot of talks. We continue to be in talks. We understand what people are looking for. I remain extremely confident that, especially in this market which has renewed optimism and enthusiasm for copper, things are starting to move. We can see retail shareholders really starting to get behind copper, and the companies that fund these projects into the next stages are also starting to become more active. So again, this is a watch this space. There's enormous amounts of work going on behind the scenes. We hope to get that news out to market relatively shortly.
A quality project in a Tier 1 jurisdiction, a lot of work being done and poised for execution when the timing's right. Exciting times ahead for Coda and its shareholders. Chris, thanks for your time.
Thank you, David.